All right, everyone. My name is Pascal Borel, and I'm talking to you from the Swiss mountains. I'm not so high in altitude. I'm in central Valais, and it's a place which is a beauty of this earth. I'm close to Derborance, and Derborance not only has a fantastic and rich history, but again, it's a beauty on the earth. And my sound advice is that you, once or later, if you have the possibility, go to Derborance and visit it. It is most amazing. Today, we have a video on fasting. And I'm personally in the middle of a fast at the moment. I'm doing a dry fast. I'm 3.5 days into it. I've been fasting since Saturday, but dry fast, meaning that I had no food, I had no drink, nothing to drink at all. And I'm going to describe to you why fasting. What does it bring to you? Why is it so essential to your well-being and to the respect of your biological tools within your body? So the first thing I'd say is, what kind of fasting can you perform? The first type of fasting is, of course, intermittent fasting, which is the most compatible with your day-to-day life. It means that you don't eat in the morning, you don't eat at lunchtime, you put nothing in your mouth. Fasting, may I just remind you, is putting nothing else but water and, for some, a bit of salt to compensate for the loss of mineral cells within your body. So what you do is you eat absolutely nothing. You can put water, but you try to avoid even coffee, tea, or anything, because those are alkaloids and they will have an effect on the way your genes express themselves. The reason for fasting is really to let your genes express themselves the way without any influence, outside influence, so that they operate a little bit like when you came out of your mom's tummy. It may seem crazy to speak that way, but that's the fact. So, first type of fasting is intermittent fasting, where you wake up in the morning, you eat nothing. You can take a bit of water if you so wish, and you eat nothing at lunchtime. You can add a bit of salt to avoid what some call the ketogenic flu, uh, which is a state in which, because you're using your mitochondria, i.e. the energy centers of each of your cell, you performing oxidations on fatty acid, mid-chain fatty acids, also called ketones, you are going to feel a bit dizzy sometimes at lunchtime, a bit tired or whatever. The way to compensate for that is to take a bit of salt. You take Himalayan rose salt or Red Mount salt from the US. I think it's in Wyoming. And you absorb it. And the reason for that, it contains the 75 plus or 70 plus, not amino acids, but mineral cells that your cytoplasm, i.e., the liquid inside every of your cell, contains. So that is the first type of fasting. I do it since decades myself. And yeah, it should be a rule of life. And I'll explain why in a second. The second type of fasting is hydrated fasting. It's a long-term fasting that can go up to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month for some, but you drink on a regular basis from the first day onwards. And it is very efficient. It's already, I would say, a therapeutic fast. And it will help you tremendously, of course, losing a bit of weight, that's clear, but detoxifying your body, also regenerating, it stimulates autophagy, and so forth, and so on and so forth. But it is by far not as efficient as the third type of fasting, which is dry fasting. And when you dry fast, you enhance the reactions in your body. You make sure that autophagy is at its maximum all the time, that all your human growth hormones, HGH, are at, 2000% on a constant basis for days, weeks. And may I remind you that HGH are responsible for your protein synthesis. So when you go 2000% plus above your normal level of HGH, what do you think happens? You heal 10 times quicker. You recreate your muscle mass literally. You you know, a lot of people are saying to me, okay, but if I do fasting on the long term, and even worse, dry fasting, I'm going to lose muscle mass. This is absolutely not the case. The dry fast will get rid of your fatty mass, if you wish, or the fatty portion of your body. Why is that? It's because you need water. You need between 400 and 600 milliliters of water on a daily basis for your basic metabolism. And you need to create this water. Now, how do you create water? How is your body creating water? They do it the same way as camels. Let me just explain. You have plenty of oxygen in the atmosphere. You take oxygen, you combine it with hydrogen that you store in your fatty mass, and you will create water. Let me give you a hint. With about 110 grams of fat, you create 100 grams of water. With 110 grams of proteins, you create, you know, metabolizing proteins, you create about 50 grams of water. And when you metabolize 110 grams of uh, not protein, of sugar, and you don't have any at this stage in time, because in my case, I'm almost 4 days into the fasting, so I have no sugar anymore available. But with 110 grams of sugar, of carbohydrates, you create about 55 grams of water. Into the fast, you get rid of your sugar, your liver glycogen. You get rid of it in a matter of 20, between 12, 24, 36 hours at the most. You still have a bit of glycogen and carbohydrates into your muscles, but they are very stingy with their sugar, and they never release. The muscle cells keep the sugar that they've been able to absorb for their own consumption. They never release it into the body, the overall blood circulation. So what I'm saying to you is that you need this water, you need to create water, and you do it out of the fatty part of your body, not from the muscles, not from the sugars. And not only because it's half as efficient, but because well, you have plenty of fat available. Even me, which, I'm not too fat myself, mostly 4 days into the fasting, clearly. I've already lost a couple of kilos, that's clear. But do I feel bad? Do I have a dry mouth? Do I have a bad eye? No, I felt a bit, how should I say? I felt a bit not even tired this morning, but everything was kind of in slow mo. Everything that I was looking at is my cognition is different. My body is using fat to create water, and doing so, it will probably use up to 500 grams of fat per day in order to create. I'm 6'4", I'm 95 kilos, and I need a bit more water than yes, someone weighing and not as tall as I am. So I probably will consume 500 plus grams of fat per day in order to create the water that I need. And doing so, I'm going to tap into all the fats that I have at my disposal, regardless of where it comes from. And it means that all the fat that's been stored and used to storing toxins you know, all the products, the waste product that your kidneys, your skin, your lungs, your digestive system has not been able to get rid of, is going to be released from the fatty cells that I'm using to create water for my basic metabolism. And that will create, after 3, 4 days, a detox uh, momentum, and I'm going to detoxify my body and I will feel pretty rough for between, I'd say, 12 to 36 hours. It depends how much toxins that you have. I have to say that for myself, I never experimented too much because as I'm doing as I'm doing intermittent fasting for more than 10 years now, on a constant basis, all year round, 365 days a year, with a few exceptions. You know, I'm not dogmatic, by the way. If I have a good family meal and due to eat at lunchtime, of course I do it. But then I eat only one time during the day, and then I don't. You know, I'm bathing in my insulin and whatever. So, well, so three types of fasting. Intermittent fasting, the first one, the most compatible with your day-to-day planning. Second type of fasting is long-term hydrated fasting where you drink water mostly. You even drink a bit of salt here and there in order to ease up the loss, to compensate the loss of mineral salts. And then you have dry fasting. A dry fasting is between 5 and 10 times more efficient than any of the other fasts in terms of its therapeutic effect. And let me give you the reason why. Let's say you're a gazelle in the jungle or in the savannah, and you get chased by a lion. The lion scratches you on your side, and you're bleeding literally to death. You escape the hunt and you survive. You quickly find a place in the shade where you can shelter and be at rest completely. And you leave your body at rest completely. The gazelle will not move, will stay put for like 5 to 8 days. And it will not drink, it will not eat. Every part of the energy that she's got at her disposal is basically, you know, focused on increasing the HGH, or the growth hormones responsible for protein synthesis. All the hormones are going to rise tremendously in order to focus on the healing. And that's the way it goes. And if you think that the little gazelle has a little bottle of water just to humidify a little bit her back throat because it feels a bit dry, well, you don't understand Mother Nature. Mother Nature has given us the tools to maximize the benefit that we get from not eating, from putting our body at rest completely. So you don't relaunch your enzyme system, your assimilation system. No, you leave your genes performing the way they want, the way they are designed for minimum 16 hours a day. That is the intermittent fasting 16-8. And the best intermittent fasting is 21-3, i.e., for instance, for example, you start eating at 6 o'clock in the evening and you stop eating at 9 o'clock in the evening. Okay, and if I go back personally, okay, now what are my personal feelings? I've done dry fasting up to 7 days with my daughter, with my son. My wife, not so much, but she's into it, but not so regularly as we are. And hmm, when you do a dry fast and you maintain it for 6 or 7 days, when you start drinking your little broth and lots of salt in it in order to compensate for the loss of mineral cells, man, your cognition, your mind, your body is like regenerated. It's like crazy amazing. I'm sorry to compare it this way, but it's literally as if you had sniffed cocaine for at least 2 weeks in a row, because your brain benefits so much of the reduced sugar within your bloodstream, the increased ketones, which are going to feed your neurons, your synapses, your or your brain, basically. Because may I remind you, yes, your brain needs a bit of sugar, but probably no more than 15% of its total energy use. It needs, for most, it needs 85% ketones. And this is how you're going to prevent neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer, Parkinson, and the others. So a fast is the best way to block the evolution of all neurological diseases, as the one I just mentioned. And you block it literally. So, mm, so why do we benefit so much from intermittent fasting or even dry fast? Well, because for most of the species, human species evolution, we've lived into the African rift or in Africa. We all come from Africa. We're all African. Chinese are African. Australians are African. Uh, we all coming from the African rift. For most of the period of the evolution of the species, we never had three times, 3 meals a day. We were hunters and gatherers, that's clear. But quite often we would come back home empty handed. And when that was the case, and it was, the case at least once or twice a week, well, our body had to deal with it. You were not going to die because you didn't have any food. So, and as it was a frequent situation, your body learned how to deal with it and extract maximum benefit from it. And one of the things with dry fasting, for instance, is that your autophagy is going to raise tremendously because you have little lysosomes inside every of your cells, which are organelles, which are designed to actually capture, digest the dysfunctional structures of your cells and put them back at the disposal of the ribosomes, which are doing the protein synthesis in amino acids. So the lysosomes, they are responsible for autophagy. It was a Nobel Prize of Medicine has been given to a Japanese gentleman, Oshinori something. I can't remember his name. Awfully sorry for that. And those lysosomes are literally eating the dysfunctional structures of your cells in order to make them available in the form of amino acids into your cytoplasm for your protein synthesis. It's amazingly efficient. And not only that, after about 4 days into dry fast, your stem cells are going to multiply and basically recolonize all the different part of your body, your muscles, your heart, your brain, your kidneys, your eyes, your liver, your pancreas, all the stem cells, which particularity is to be able to recolonize and duplicate the genes of the organ in which they fix themselves. So it's a major regeneration of all your organs. It's crazy. And this is why when you break the fast after 6, 7, 8 days of dry fast, by the way, everyone can perform a dry fast. They have a therapeutical dry fasting in Russia, for example, in the region of Lake Baikal, and they go up to 17 days, even 20, 21 days of dry fasting in extreme conditions, mostly to fight against cancer. And the reason why is when you deplete your body from all sugar, from a lot of the, from protein intakes, i.e., amino acids, you kill your cancer cells because they only feed on glutamine and sugar. They cannot feed out of ketones when all, i.e., fatty acids, fats, when all your other cells, your healthy cells, can feed on fat. No problem for them. They have the right mitochondria. And you must know that cancer is by no means a genetic disease. No, it's a metabolic disease. It's a disease of your mitochondria, which are regressing to a less advanced stage of our evolution, and they start performing fermentation rather than oxidation on sugars and fatty acids. So when you do your dry fast, when you 6, 7 days into the dry fast, your stem cells are not like 30% above or 100%. No, they're 1,000% above. And they recolonize every of your organs, which makes you regenerate like amazing. And this is one of the beauty, from the legacy of the evolution of the species. We've been in the African rift for a long time, for 99% of the evolution of the species, let's face it. And we've adapted to the conditions, going more, going further by just adapting. No, we're using the environment to our best advantage in order to make even hostile conditions a major benefit for us. How do you turn a hostile environment into something which benefits you? And this is what Mother Nature has given us. This is our legacy. This is what you should be using. And in this video, I'm just trying to explain you why you should do it, why it is good. There is even a drug, I think it's produced by the Swedish, I can't remember the name of the pharmaceutical company, but the fact of the matter is it's a drug which has made the company, it has multiplied its capital value on the stock market fold 50 probably, because apparently it's a molecule that imitates, that replicate literally the, I would say, the biology induced by fasting. But the problem is, they've discovered this molecule, and people take it to lose weight, basically, okay, because it makes people lose weight fast. And normally it's a drug for diabetics in order to assimilate sugar better, okay? But please, you should avoid taking this shit. Sorry for my language, because you don't know what are going to be the side effects. So of course it's going to strike, a great benefit to you if you're totally overweight and you need to lose weight. Well, yeah, and this is your utmost priority. Yeah, please do it. Otherwise, just don't, man. Just go for the natural thing, i.e., start fasting. And if you do, it's adapted to each and every person on this earth. You'll feel amazing benefits from it. So, yeah, I think that's wraps it up, really. Uh, I'm going to do you in English, and awfully sorry for my English listener. I haven't been doing it over the last couple of weeks because I was very busy, doing other stuff in French, which I was asked for, so I had to, comply with the demand. And but now I'm going to be back in English so that I can explain my inner feelings about my dry fast. I've started last Saturday. We are now Tuesday morning. I'm going to carry on until probably Thursday, Friday, maybe even Saturday, depending on how I feel. I'm going to go for a quick walk. It's a bright sunshine today, so I'm going to take advantage of it. But every day, I'll be doing a little video about how I feel. For example, the other day when I woke up, after 24 hours of dry fast, I had a bit of a stomach ache, not much, but when I was lacing my shoes, I could feel, it was a bit bizarre. And I went for an hour walk, went away, and I did a little massage like that just to maintain, just to acclimatize my body to the fact of not receiving any food nor water. And today I feel perfectly okay. I was a bit slow in the morning, as I just mentioned. Everything was kind of in a slow-mo, but I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to, breathe properly and so forth. And not going to eat, not going to drink. And do I look like very tired? Do I look like, energy-less? No, man. My last remark is that whatever the circumstances of life, your body should be your utmost priority. It is the only place you'll ever live in. having a weak body is a reflection of your broken mind. It's a reflection of your total lack of willpower and discipline. In fact, it reflects your piss poor choices in life. And this is not on. You cannot let that happen. You are the master of your decision. You are not made of the circumstances of life. You are what you make of them. And your body works the same way. So make yourself a favor. Decide you're going to go for intermittent fasting. You cut sugar, and I will explain why in greater details in further videos. And you cut sugar completely, well, during at least your your day of intermittent fasting. And then you go into a hydrated fast, if you wish, and then you go into a dry fast like I do. And of course, you're going to have to relearn yourself in hostile conditions how you react and. But it is designed for you. It is the only way you're going to extract the best version of yourself. Please do it. You do it for yourself, not for me, not for anyone else. You do it for you. Try it. Don't trust anyone. Try it and trust your feelings. That wraps it up. May I thank you for your benevolent and kind attention. May peace be with you and all men of the planet. Peace out.